Kingdom of Cambodia. There exists sparse evidence for Pleistocene and human occupation of present-day Cambodia, which includes quartz and quartzite pebbles found in terraces along the Mekong River, in Stung Tang and Krathi province, and in Kambot province, although their dating is unreliable. Some late archaeological evidence show communities of hunter-gatherers inhabited the region during the Holocene. The most ancient archaeological discovery site in Cambodia is considered to be the cave of Lang Sben in Battambang province, which belonged to the Hoa Binh Hang period. Excavation in its lower layers produced a series of radiocarbon dates around 6000 BC. Upper layers in the same site gave evidence of the transition to Neolithic, containing the earliest dated earthenware ceramics in Cambodia. Archaeological records for the period between Holocene and Iron Age remain equally limited. The pivotal event in Cambodian prehistory was the slow penetration of the first rice farmers from the north, which began the late 3rd millennium BC. The most current prehistoric evidence in Cambodia are the various circular earthworks discovered in the red soil near Mammoth and in the adjacent region of Vietnam in the later 1950s. Their function and age are still debated, but some of them possibly date from the 2nd millennium BC. Other prehistoric sites of somewhat uncertain date are Sambrong Sen, not far from the ancient capital of Udon, where the first investigation began in 1875. And Phum Snei in the northern province of Ban Thie Minh Chey. An excavation at Phum Snei revealed 21 graves with iron weapons and cranial trauma which could point to the conflicts in the past, possible with larger cities in Angkor. Prehistoric artifacts are often found during mining activities in Ratanakiri. Iron was worked by about 500 before Christ, with supporting evidence coming from the Korat Plateau in modern-day Thailand. In Cambodia, some Iron Age settlements were found beneath Paksay Chamkrong and other Angkorian temples, while circular earthworks were found beneath Love, a few kilometers northwest of Angkor. Burials much richer than other types of finds testify to improvement of food availability and trade. Even on long distance in the 4th century before Christ, trade relations with India were already open, and the assistance of the social structure and labor organization. Among the artifacts from the Iron Age, glass beads are important evidence. Different kinds of glass beads recovered from several sites across Cambodia, such as the Phum Snei site in the northeast, northwest, and the Prohir site in the southeast, so that there were two main trading networks at the time. The two networks were separated by time and space, which indicate that there was a shift from one network to the other at about the 2nd to 4th century AD, probably with change in socio-political powers. Pre-Angkorian and Angkorian era. During the 3rd, 4th, and 5th centuries, the Indianized state of Funan and its successor Chenla coalesced in present-day Cambodia and southwestern Vietnam. For more than 2,000 years, that was become Cambodia absorbed influence from India, passing them on to other Southeast Asian civilizations that are now Thailand and Laos. Little else is known for certain of these policies. However, Chinese chronicles and tribute records to make mention of them. It is believed that the territory of Funan may have held the port known to Alexandrian geographer Claudius Ptolemy as Katigara. The Chinese chronicles suggest that after Jayavarman I of Chenla died around 681, turmoil ensued which resulted in the division of the kingdom into land Chenla and quarter Chenla, which was loosely ruled by Greek princes under the dominion of Java. The Khmer Empire grew out of these remnants of Chenla, becoming firmly established in 802 when Jayavarman II reigned circa 790 circa to 835, declared independence from Java and proclaimed himself as Devaraja. He and his followers instituted the cult of the God King and began a series of conquests that formed an empire which flourished in the era from the 9th to the 15th centuries. During the rule of Jayavarman VIII, and the Angkor Empire was attacked by the Mongol army of Kublai Khan. However, the king was able to buy peace. Around the 13th century, monks of the Sri Lanka introduced Theravada Buddhism to South Asia. The religion spread and eventually displaced Hinduism and Mahayana Buddhism as the popular religion of Angkor. However, it was not the official state religion until 1295 when Indravarman III took power. The Khmer Empire was Southeast Asia's largest empire during the 12th century. The empire's center of power was Angkor, where a series of capitals were constructed during the empire's reign. In 2007, an international team of researchers using satellite photographs and other modern techniques concluded that Angkor had been the largest pre-industrial city in the world, with an urban sprawl of 2,980 square kilometers. The city, which could house a population of up to 1 million people, and Angkor Wat, the best known and best preserved religious temple at the site, still serve as the reminder of Cambodia's past as major regional power. The empire, though in decline, remained a significant force in the region until its fall in the 15th century. Post-Angkor period. After a long series of wars with neighboring kingdoms, Angkor was sacked by the Ayutthaya kingdom and abandoned in 1432 because of ecological failure and infrastructure breakdown. This led to a period of economic, social, and cultural stagnation when the kingdom's internal affairs came increasingly under the control of its neighbors. By this time, the Khmer penchant for monument building had ceased. Other faiths such as Mahayana Buddhism and the Hindu cult of the God King had been supplanted by the Theravada Buddhism. The court moved to the capital of Long Vec, where the kingdom sought to regain its glory through maritime trade. The first mention of Cambodia in European documents was in 1511 by the Portuguese. Portuguese travelers described the city as a place of flourishing wealth and foreign trade. Continued wars with Ayutthaya and the Vietnamese resulted in the loss of more territory and Long Vec being conquered and destroyed by the King Naresuan the Great of Ayutthaya, 1594. A new Khmer capital was established at Udon, south of Long Vec in 1618, but its monarchs could survive only by entering into what amounted to alternating vassal relationship with the Siamese and Vietnamese for the next 3 centuries, with only few short-lived periods of relative independence. The Hill tribe people in the Cambodia were hunted incessantly and carried off as slaves by the Siamese and the Annamese, Vietnamese, and the Cambodians. In the 19th century, a renewed struggle between Siam and Vietnam for control of Cambodia resulted in a period when Vietnamese officials attempted to force the Khmers to adopt Vietnamese custom. This led to several rebellions against the Vietnamese and appeals to Thailand for assistance. The Siamese-Vietnamese War around 1841 to 1845 ended with an agreement to place the country under the joint suzerainty. This later led to the signing of the Treaty for French Protection of Cambodia by King Norodom Proprietary.